Is this thing on? Are we here? Are we on? No, I'm kidding. I know that it's on. Like, is this thing on?
Wow, that sounds so bad.
That was really cool.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Good Talkers podcast. I am Deanna Cooney, and as always, I am joined by my spectacular team of good talkers. We have the incomparable Ashton Haugen, the truly delightful Tessa Livingston.
Oh, I like being delightful. That's nice.
Right?
Thank you.
Yeah, and our super awesome and effective and keeps us in line producer Jordan from NZ Audio Editors.
Hey guys.
Hello, everyone. We are going to talk about some really cool, fun stuff today around agents and how you might want to approach them, and on how you present your package to a potential new agent, or even just potentially to clients, right? But we'll talk specifically around agents. We're going to go over what agents are looking for, a whole bunch of different things, right? But before we do that. Tessa has a story to share, right? That like Ashton and Tessa are quite positive, has been discussed on the podcast before, but Jordan and I are like, what? Like, what? So can you please retell the story? Please retell the story. I'm desperate to hear it again.
I'm like 98% positive I've talked about this before, but it was but for our new listeners who are just like jumping in now, hey, what up? So I it was back in the early days, and it was when I had a free subscription, or I paid for? I think I paid for a subscription to voices.com, and I was auditioning for things and bits and pieces, whatever, and there was an audition that came up for untitled Vore film, and Vore was spelled VORE, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. They just don't know what the title of their film is. I don't know, but whatever, cool. But they were looking for a British femme fatale. And I was like, oh, that's in my wheelhouse. I can do that resonance. I can do that accent. No worries. But they didn't provide an audition script. You had to go find something and do it for them. So I did that. I went and found like someone like talking about like being in a murder scene. It was like a murder monologue. I don't know, because like femme fatale, kind of like dark, edgy. I was like, yeah, sure. Yeah, no worries. It's like, yeah, great. Got a message back, and it was like my first one I'd ever gotten. I was so freaking excited because I was like, oh my God, I actually achieved something. And got a message back, and they're like, oh, cool, really love your audition, really great, love the sound of your voice, all that sort of stuff. But do you know what you've auditioned for? And I was like, oh,
a voice job.
I don't know what that means. I was like, oh no, like a voice job, a thing. And he went, oh yeah, okay, cool. Please don't Google this, but which is always a
super
very
comforting.
fun way to start. It was a fun way to start a phrase. Super comforting. And he's like, please don't Google this, but Google this. But it's called vaudeville. Have you heard of this before? I was like, no, I haven't heard of this before. And I did Google it, which was a mistake, but I did Google it. So
I'm totally Googling it
when
right
somebody
now.
says incognito browser window.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, Jordan, incognito that shit.
Okay,
but
okay,
so there's do it now. So vaudeville is it's a sexual kink. And it is and it's only an animation because you can't do it in real life, but it is the act of going into like a fantasy scene of whatever it is, characters, whoever, and being consumed by somebody, so like physically like eaten by someone and like hanging out in their tummy and being like all safe and like cozy in there, and then either being magically just like back out in the real fantasy world, and if I'm describing this wrong, Jordan, please this was years ago that I looked at this.
Oh my God, just see Jordan's face right now.
please correct me if this is wrong. But
I'm looking for explanations, don't worry.
Just definition.
I found Pornhub. Does that count?
Yeah, pretty.
All right, I've got a description. No, maybe. Yeah, I might have a description
on
here.
Pornhub. But the other version of it is that people are excreted, so either orally
or
anally removed from the body and then like reformed. I think like it's very complex.
This sounds like mummy issues to me.
It sounds like lots of issues to me. And like whatever you're into.
We don't kink shame. We're not kink shaming you.
But what was? No, we're not kink shaming.
No.
It just fits into my story, me having this opinion about it because he explained it to me, and I went. It was $500 USD at the time, which at that moment in time. Just wait for the rest of the story, Deanna.
And where can we find
it? The rest of the story. I was.
Pornhub.
No!
Share screen.
No. This is Google in your own time kind of stuff. It was 500 USD, which in New Zealand dollars at the time was about 1,000. Like I was like, okay. And I said to this guy, I was like, hey, look, not kink shaming, because I didn't say that, but I was like, it's not what I'm into. Each to their own. It's not what I'm into, but it's just playing a character, like whatever, it doesn't matter. So he added me to the Discord like group chat that with the people who were making these things. They had like the animators and the stuff like that. The problem about being in that space with these people was that they were very into it themselves. There was nobody in there who wasn't like fully into this thing. And like some of the messages like between I was in there for about 24 hours, and I messaged the guy and I went, I'm so sorry, but I can't do this. And he went, yeah, I'm not surprised. Took me out of the group chat. That was the end of it. But I'd come up with a pseudonym because I was like, I can't have anybody like, for my own personal career. Like I plan to work in commercial. Like, I'm not telling you. I actually also can't remember, but I don't remember. It'll be written down somewhere. But
the deep dark recesses of the bits of your memory that you've locked away.
Yeah, the bits that I've like hacked away. But the thing that really got me about it was that I would have to make like chewing and swallowing noises. So like I'm just gonna like. Like it had to be noises like that, which is really stressful in my brain, and I didn't feel good about that. The other thing they asked me to do is that they wanted me to have Jordan, stop laughing. Is that they wanted me to have a pirate version of Keira Knightley, and I was like, those two things don't coexist. So they wanted Pirates of the Caribbean Keira Knightley with a pirate accent. I was like, they don't go together. I couldn't figure it out because they wanted all like the R sort of sounds, but Keira Knightley talks with a British accent that doesn't have an R in it, so it's just
Matey.
So it was very confusing.
Starting to sound like the video.
It was very scary. Trying to figure, and like my pirate just ended up being Irish, which was fine, and they were okay. Like it was. So no, I didn't do the porn in the end. But it was quite an interesting situation. All up. Oh God, there's questions. Yeah.
I suspect the quality of the accent was not the primary metric that they were measuring you on.
No, they wanted good characters. They didn't.
Really?
They didn't want. Yeah, fuck yeah. They wanted great characters for their anime stuff. Yes,
I mean that makes sense.
Okay.
What?
Forophilia, an infrequently presenting paraphilia characterized by the erotic desire to consume or be consumed by another person or creature. You nailed it.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, should we
Hold on,
talk
I got
about
one more
something
question.
else?
Was this a dubbing job? Like, did they already have it animated, or were they going to animate it to your performance?
They were going to animate it to the performance.
Very interesting.
Is what I understood. But I wasn't there long enough to get all of those details.
Goodness me.
And cool. If that's what everybody's into, no worries. But I remember messaging the guy over, like at the beginning going like, I'm real vanilla. And I actually used those words. I'm like, I'm real vanilla. So, I was like, whatever anybody else is into, cool. But just letting you know. And he's like, oh, okay. I was out within about 24 hours. I couldn't.
Man, I'm surprised you lasted that long.
Yeah, it was I remember reading it and being like, I just don't understand. I couldn't understand.
I feel like it's one thing to like play a character doing those things, but to be added into a group chat with a bunch of other people who are actually having this type of fantasy and actively
engaging.
I mean, hopefully not actively engaging in it, because wow, you can't. It's illegal.
Yeah, in terms of animation and stuff, actively engaging in the concept.
That would be because it's illegal.
Because it's illegal.
But that would also frighten me. Like I think that would be 2 steps too far for me as well.
Yeah, and the thing is that it's not like they were talking about it in sense of practice. They were talking about it in sense of creation. Like they were creating the stories, they were creating the characters, but it was just that the stuff that they were creating was stuff I just couldn't understand. And that's where the real
You weren't right for the job. You couldn't understand.
That's so interesting.
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
No, I wasn't right for the job. And you know what? I don't know where they are these days, but I hope they found what they were looking for.
I'm sure they made an amazing animation.
I'm sure they did. I'm sure it's absolutely amazing. It's not for me. So yeah, no, I almost did porn once, and that's was kind of like at a low point of my my sense of existence, because I was so desperate to do any job. I was like, someone just fucking book me. And the thing I almost got booked on was Vaudevillia. And,
Excellent.
It was a lot. It was a lot.
Well,
So
at least it's an opportunity, like up front, for you to make like choices about your ethics and your morals and how you're going to engage in like the whole process of being a performer.
Good lesson to learn.
Everything's a win,
Yeah.
I'm
But the
desperately
people
trying
I've
to.
told, if I'm meeting new people, they're like, oh, this is Tessa. She's a voiceover artist. She almost did porn once. Or actually, they won't say almost. They'll just say that I did. And then I have to tell the fucking story. I'm like, you guys suck. So it's a great icebreaker with people you don't know.
Yeah, fab. Maybe agents. Maybe it's something you could use to. There you go. I found a segue.
yeah.
I've been sitting here fucking desperately trying to find a segue. Just found one.
Well done.
Found it. You found it.
Perhaps this could go in your package if you ever wanted to present to a different agent. Maybe
Perhaps
not.
it fucking
maybe,
shouldn't.
right? Like, so let's have a little chat about that, whether or not it's appropriate. Actually, really what we're going to talk about is, what agents are looking for, what you might want to include in your package. It could be porn. It depends on the agent that you're approaching,
And
right?
your
Like,
goals.
potentially
Depends on the
that's an absolute winner, right? Right. And, we might, like if we have time, we might dig into some of the pitfalls to kind of try and avoid. So let's talk agents. Now,
Yes.
something that's really fun about the three of us that has happened since we started the podcast as well. This didn't exist prior to the podcast necessarily, but all three of us are represented by Sarah McLeod of Big Mouth Voices in New Zealand, right? So, that's really awesome. Big shout out to Sarah. Now, Tess works really closely with Sarah at Big Mouth. So I want to start with you, Tess. What are some of the common mistakes you see being made by people who are pitching Big Mouth Voices to be represented?
Yeah, awesome. Because I'm not an agent at Big Mouth Voices, but we class me as as the talent manager. So I have a lot of say on who does and doesn't come on the books and those sorts of things. The key thing that really grinds my gears, because I think grinding gears is a really cool way to phrase things, is not understanding who you're sending your email to, or not putting in the time or the thought to understand. If you're trying to be repped by someone's agency, look at what they do. This happens to me quite frequently. I'll get an email. One, they haven't followed our sign-on protocol, which is we have a sign-up page, a form that you go in and fill out, and then we get notified at our end that somebody has filled it out, and then we'll go and review it. I'll get an email that's like, "Hi, I'd like to apply for your agency," and half the time I'm like, did you sign up on the platform? Go through this, use our method of communication. But I don't mind being emailed if those emails are good. But here's the thing that happens is that often they're not so concise. It's they'll just say hi. They won't use a name or anything specific.
Nothing personal.
Nothing personal. And I'd like to be represented. Here's my things, and they'll attach things. And they won't actually relate to what it is that we do. So often I'll get audiobooks. I'm like, we don't do audiobooks, so I'm not the right person to email. Or I'll get a phone recording of someone recording themselves on their phone and sending it through. That it happens all the time. So for those of you who couldn't see that, Ashton, just her eyes just popped out of her head.
Exploded out of her head.
It happens all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. To be honest, I don't actually even reply to a lot of these people because I don't have the time. We get so many applicants per day. If it's not someone being serious, I don't reply. But sending me things that sound nothing like the content that we currently host on our platform.
I mean, I would suspect that a lot of those are it sounds very clearly like a lot of those are blanket emails that are just being bulk sent out to all of the agents. It's cast your net wide, right? And so that's why they're not personalized. But that also tells me that those people are operating at in a certain tier of the voiceover space, right?
Yeah.
They are going for bulk. They are probably will probably say yes to anything. And are just like I said, throwing the net really, really wide. And that's fine. There's those people out there exist. But if you are looking to be represented by an agent, that's not what agents are for, right? No. Agents aren't for wide nets being nets being cast widely at all. They're actually for when you want to focus in and pick a lane and fucking charge down that lane with some intent, That's and also agents, and they're becoming more and more boutique. They're sort of like spreading to opposite ends of the space. They're either really boutique in their representation, or they do just take like a whole bunch of people. And those, like, that's a casting platform almost. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's almost like a person just like letting emails move in and out, right? And I think it's, if you're serious about having an agent, the first thing you have to decide is why the fuck do you want an agent, right? And pick the agents that do the things that you want to do. It's so important.
And the only way you're going to be able to do that is what I suspect a lot of people didn't do, Tessa, or don't do, is that do your research. If they would have just Googled the website,
100%.
they could have seen you could sign up for the website. You know what I mean? If you did.
Or asked AI for like a bunch of emails and just bulk sent them out or something.
How did you find, how did you must have just done the very minimal amount of work to find an email address that will go to someplace you might want it to go. No, like, do your research. Who works there? What do they do? What kinds of people do they represent? Is there a lot of people who look like you? Maybe don't approach them because they already have a lot of you already. Maybe try to find somebody who doesn't have a you.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
I find that most of these people actually have no idea how the voiceover industry works or what it even is.
This is exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's that category of people. But if we step it up to the next level, a category of people who are operating inside the voiceover space, maybe are working, at whatever level, bits and pieces, the same applies. Like, I can get a really, really good audiobook demo and I still have to email back and go, we don't do audiobooks.
Yeah.
Like, and those are people who are presumably, because they sound great, they're really well polished, all of those sorts of things. The other thing I get is people being kind of hopeful and sending me one really good commercial spot. I'm like, okay, cool, where's the rest? Yeah, it's that sort of stuff. So they kind of feel like ill thought out plans a lot of the time. Both of your hands went up at the same time. Who's next?
I want to ask another question, but Ashton, if you've got more to say about that, you go first.
I was just going to ask a question about the plan. Like, so if one demo spot isn't, or like one commercial spot isn't enough, what would be the minimum, like, that you should have as tools in your like little representation package?
Yeah, mine would be 4. 4 would be my minimum of good content. Like, just having 4 or 3 or 4 random pieces on there doesn't really do anything. Like, if I hear the same good thing 4 times in a row, that's not going to really spur any confidence from me either. It's not necessarily like a minimum set of samples or a minimum amount of reads on your demo. It's more, what does that demo convey to me that I can then sell back to clients when they have briefs.
But it is a demo. It is something that you have, materials that you have to represent yourself, because some people don't even have that. Like you said, they have a recording of themselves on their phone. So like,
sometimes people email me with their show reel for acting, asking to be a voice actor, and I'm
we
like,
don't do on camera or theater.
Yeah, they're not the same thing.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
but also they're not the same thing. Just because you can show up and be an actor on camera and do a scene with other actors or do a monologue or anything like that, that doesn't mean that you can do voiceover. Like my voiceover agent in Australia is also an acting agent, and she is regularly flabbergasted. Like, she says to me all the time, like, this person has an amazing voice, they've got incredible presence, they've got loads of charisma, they're really, really good. I send them off to a studio, I put them in a studio, they're shit. They just can't do the voiceover part. Right? There's something about it that doesn't work for them. And voiceover is a really specific craft and skill set. Like, it's not, it draws on acting and it draws on all sorts of different things, but it's not the same as theatre or on stage. Well, I mean, on screen acting, right? Like, it's not even the same thing. So what are some of the things that, like, when people send you good stuff, what makes them stand out? Like, what's good?
Having a really nice demo that's labeled, that I know exactly what it is. Like, honestly, it's the basics of having a really nice subject line in your email, the basics of having your audio file labeled with like what the actual thing is really nice. I really enjoy getting a website link. I think that's really pleasant, because if you don't want to send me a whole heap of files, and like, it's actually not great to send a whole heap of files. For me personally, I don't particularly like it. But if you send me your main thing that you're really good at, so if you send me one commercial demo, one gaming demo, for example, and then in the email it has, oh, by the way, here's a link to my website. I love clicking on a website link, because then I get so much more of a picture. So I really enjoy that. I like them to be mid-length. So don't tell me your whole life story in an email. There's too many things. I can look on your website if I want to do that. But also don't say, hi, my name is, I want representation. Thanks. Like, that's, a little bit of personality in there as well is really helpful, because we do what we do. We want to understand who you are and what we're working with, but too long or too short isn't fun. Yes.
So that's an email standing out, right? Like, if people don't send you an email and they don't do it the proper way, and they go through the platform and they upload all the bits and pieces, you'll listen to what they've uploaded. So when you listen, what are some of the things that stand out for you that make a performer, like, make you sit up and take notice?
Ooh, telling a story, knowing how to tell a story, that's the thing that'll pick up my ears really fast. It's actually easier for me to talk about the things that don't, funnily enough. Like, when you get something good, you just know, you're like, oh yeah, I can hear that. That's great. The things that don't sound great to me is a bells and whistles demo that basically covers your voice. So the music covers it, or, with extra sounds effects and things like that.
That's a production fucking demo.
It's a production demo. Yeah. But the thing that gets me really quickly is that if I can hear, that's what it is. Sorry, it took a little sec for my brain to get there. If I can hear performance as opposed to reading, that's because I can hear it in a split second. So if I can hear a good performance as opposed to reading, if I can hear understanding of genre as opposed to just talking, or just like going, oh, well, this is this genre, therefore I think it should sound this way, and doing that sort of thing. So understanding your genre, understanding your voice, and understanding your performance skill, because we can hear it in the first 2 seconds of you opening your mouth. So and those things are quite hard to like go, oh, this is the thing that makes your demo really, really good. But what it is going, like, have you done the craft? Have you done the practice? Have you done all of those? Have you done all of those things? Because we can hear them. We can hear them really, really quick.
That's really interesting. So, like, there's two levels here. There's the, how do you present yourself, like as a professional, right? How are you showing up? Are you showing up professionally? And I think that's super important for agents. Like, they're not going to even take a second look at you if you show up unprofessionally. That doesn't 100%. Mean you have to be like button up shirt and all very rah, right? No. But it means, like, understand how the industry works, have awareness, have understanding of the industry, know who you're dealing with, be personal in your approach, and just be professional. Understand that this is a craft, a job, a profession, and that it's not just about you, because the agent is doing a job also, right? And so you have to meet them. And then the other side of it is like the performance. You have to be operating at a particular standard. Like, end
it's
of
not
story,
a hobby,
right?
And if you are a hobbyist, that is something completely different, and you probably don't need an agent for that. You know what I mean? This is an industry. This is a career. This is a. It's not even a job. I would say it's a long-term career. It's going to take you a really long time. You know what I mean? It's supposed to have longevity. It's not a fleeting hobby. If you're not going to be into this next year, don't invest. Don't take the time. Yeah.
Don't try and get an agent. Yeah. And look, an agent is really like an avenue for work, right? Like, but it's a relationship with a person, right? So, like, that, there's that as well to consider. If what you want, if you think that you should get an agent just because you're in voiceover and you're doing some voiceover stuff, and so therefore you should have an agent, that's not applicable, right? An agent serves a purpose for you as a voiceover artist. You serve a purpose for an agent as a voiceover artist. There's a professional relationship there. You're basically like hiring someone to work with you, right? It's a professional relationship, and so you got to go into it with that attitude.
Yeah. Yeah, and when you are approaching as well, this is something that I find really fun. If people tend to name drop in these emails, being like, oh, well, my demo was made by this person and I've trained with this person. If your demo doesn't back that up, I don't give a fuck. Yeah. I don't care. I would prefer I knew nothing about those things and actually judged it on the merits, because when people go, well, this person made it and these sorts of things, I'm like, yeah, but it still sounds like shit. So I can't do anything with that. So if you're going to name drop, Make sure your stuff backs it up.
But if your stuff backs it up, you don't need to name drop.
true.
That's the thing.
Exactly.
Right?
That's the other side
Unless
of it. And
what
that's what
you're-
really skilled talent do.
Yeah, right. Unless what you're looking for is like, hey, I was having a conversation with so-and-so and they suggested I reach out to you because they think that we're going to be a really good fit together, right? That's different.
I love those ones. Those ones are great because that shows it shows keen interest. It shows relationship. Because also we get an understanding of who you might be based on the person who sent you.
Yeah.
And that's really important for us to understand as well.
You talked a little bit earlier about the subject line of this email and what stands out. So I've heard many things about the subject line. The subject line. It's like a thing. I don't know why, but it is like a thing. One of the things I've heard two things that have really stuck out to me. One is if you are referred by somebody, put their name in the subject line. And then two, if when you are, the subject line is helpful with the more description it has. For example, if I were to reach out to somebody, I would say Los Angeles character, voiceover actor, female, presenting, high pitch, whatever the adjectives that I would describe myself, quirky, funny, whatever it is, put all that in the subject line is what I've also been told. What do you think about that, Tessa? Okay.
I don't hate that. I think if it was too long, it would annoy me because I'm like, well, why isn't that in the body of your email?
And also put it in the body of the email. But I'm saying put it in the subject line.
A couple of key things, voiceover artist or not voiceover artist, or like representation. And then like the couple of things that you do that are like really, really heightened, like female commercial US, something along those lines. I find ones that are a bit I'm going to say on the nose, but I'm going to explain what I mean by that. Like if the subject line is like best voiceover artist you didn't know you needed, I'm not, that annoys me. Because I find those, it's kind of like you're telling me what I need to think about you before I've even assessed you.
And it just doesn't land well anyway.
It just doesn't land well. Be like, I'm the best voiceover artist there is. I'm like,
you're fucking not actually. You can't possibly be. You wouldn't be sending me an email if you were, right? Like that's not a fucking thing. Like I love Sarah, I love you, I love blah blah blah, and some of the world's best voiceover talent are likely on your books, right? Like that's the thing. But like approaching an agent saying I'm the best in the world, like fuck off, you're not. Like you can't be. It's not. One, it's not possible, and two, the best in the world do not write that in their fucking subject lines.
No, there's a tone of humble. There's a tone of humble that has to be there because you're asking me to be in a relationship with you in that sense. And starting with that makes me step back off of you a little bit, which isn't a good way to open because the subject line's the first thing we say.
So sorry.
Hey,
I was just going to say you don't want to have a relationship.
No. I was just about to say
who's like that. So
no, exactly.
Yeah. We need to move on to Sounds I Can't Make. We need to like move tightly. I've got Jordan.
Oh, he's like wiggling. He's like doing the anxious wiggle. We got to go wiggle.
Yeah, right.
I totally do that.
But we should talk more about this because there's actually a big long list of questions that we've slightly touched on actually in that conversation. But it'd be really nice to dig in a bit more into kind of the details of how you kind of do this kind of stuff. So I think we should definitely have a part 2 to this conversation. Thoughts?
I love that. I love that.
Yes, 100%.
Yes, okay, fantastic. All right, great. So, Jordan, handing over to you. Take it away.
Over to me. This is the proudest one that I've found. I think it's a guy who's really good at beatboxing and that sort of thing.
Right. Thanks,
and
Jordan.
he doesn't do that in here. So don't worry about that. But
now
I really
I'm
like the way that the way that it sounds. I thought, this is cool. I want to see if we can all do it. So that's where we're at. All right. He reckons it's the hardest sound in the world. And it's like being the best voiceover artist.
There we go.
I don't know. I don't know if he can say that and then do it. You know what I mean? It's like, is that an ego thing? Here we go.
And now the most difficult sound in the whole world. The braking bike.
No fucking way.
How sick is that? I was like,
There's-
oh
Yeah.
my God. you
Everyone
guys
needs to
are
turn down their
totally gonna do
gain.
this. Do you want to hear it again? Do
Yeah.
you want to hear it again?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
With the gain down?
Breaking bike.
Oh, that's breathy, but like really sharp.
He
He's
Yeah,
starting with. It's like that,
That
but
high.
I can't get to the pitch. But it starts with that.
yeah.
Can you hear me doing
Is
that?
it even
Yeah, I
vocal
can
or
hear
is
it.
it just a whistle with the? Yeah.
I was gonna
I don't think
I was going to
it's-
query that. I think it's false fold because I think if way back in season 1 when we did this the seagull sound, the high pitched seagull sound, he's using components. It's a really similar process of that. So he's starting with wide. He's either using his ventricular folds or his real ones, but my guess is that they're the false ones. And he's keeping them separate, slowly pushing them together and pushing them together with force. That's what I can hear.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. I would love for someone to let me know what he's actually doing because
It sounds like he's whistling. It sounds like what he's doing is
But
going.
his mouth is not closed in
But-
a whistle. Yeah.
His mouth stays open. Totally. It's not a whistle. So it's definitely happening at the vocal fold level.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can hear the start of it. It starts as an out breath. It starts with
And then he
Like
he
that,
right?
shakes
But I
it a
can't
little
do
for
it.
like the breaking, like the actual stop
s-
when the bike stops. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. If you did that with your true vocal folds, you'd cause strain
Yes.
really fast because that's really high tension. It's really high pressure. I have no way of innovating that. Without actually using my vocal folds, I have no way of doing
So
it.
you can't access your false vocal folds.
No.
So when I'm doing that thing at the start there, that I'm doing that. Is that my vocal folds or my false folds? Doesn't hurt.
Oh, great. Well, the only way I'd be able to tell that is if
Endoscope me.
that, but also if we did a pitch range measure. So I'd get you at the beginning of doing that sound. I'd get you to go yeah all the way up to the top. So I don't. Mine's a bit swollen today, so not swollen. It's a bit tense today, so it's not quite so good. But and then I would get you to do that for 15 minutes straight, play around with it. And then if 30 minutes after that you'd lost your top range, that would be an immediate tell to me that you were doing something incorrect because you'd caused vocal fold swelling.
It didn't.
So-
it doesn't feel like I'm doing things like with my vocal folds, and I had to use a lot of breath support and supply. So like to get it to move into that, I had to. Like there was definitely like some tension applied, like some squeeze applied, and I needed lots more air to get it to go into that higher pitch.
Yeah, that makes sense because as we need to get into that higher pitch, we need to close the space of what's articulating to actually produce that higher frequency sound. But I have no way of telling whether it's your false folds or your true folds because that's not in my wheelhouse of mechanical knowledge.
So when I did that then, did it sound anything like what he did?
Yes, it did. Yeah, I thought it did. But yeah, it's so hard to tell. The best way to find that out without doing an endoscope, people listening at home, that's a camera down the nose to look at your vocal folds, would be to do it for 10, 15 minutes straight, have a rest, and then see if your high range is fucked out.
range is destroyed. Wow.
Yeah.
Does it change if you do it on an in-breath versus an out-breath? Like, is it possible to create the same sound on an in and out-breath?
I think you could get
I just sound like a
similar,
zombie when I
but
do
it would
in-breath.
have a different. It would sound more zombie.
Well, if you put creak in it, it sounds like a zombie. If you keep it really clean and not creaky, it doesn't go zombie. But that I can feel on my vocal folds. I feel like everything got real dry and gross then.
Yeah, I feel like I think you could hear, there would be an energetic difference between an ingressive and egressive breath flow.
Yeah.
I think it would sound similar, but I think it would be different somehow. But I can't quite articulate that. I'm not sure.
Well, I just did it on an in-breath. Like that was, they feel very different. And I feel like the energetic thing is right, because it's like I'm sucking it in rather than pushing
You
it
can
out.
hear the direction of the
can.
flow.
Yeah, you
You
can.
can hear the direction of the airflow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Try
That
it.
sounds absolutely amazing.
Wow.
I would
I
like
can't
to try.
I can't do it. Like there's just that's two in a
You can
that's
try.
two in
Yeah,
a
go,
row.
go,
You haven't tried.
Hold on.
So you're doing an
That-
you're
I am.
you're
I can't
vocalizing
get it to
definitely,
not
right?
vocalize. I'm
'Cause-
like,
Yeah.
yeah, wow.
I can't get it to not vocalize. Like my voice just, yeah.
Yeah, you keep popping into high pitch. Oh, so
Mm.
interesting.
Yeah. And I 100% know that I can't do it. And I actually have to teach voice after this, so
Fair
I'm
enough.
not going to try.
That's fair.
Yeah.
because I
Boo.
need oh boo, because I have to access, but I'm so aware of my mechanics that I know that if I tried that sound, I would cause damage in a heartbeat.
See,
I
I
would
don't
cause swelling very quickly.
I don't have a lot of high pitch available to me, so my mechanics like don't naturally pop into that space easily. So maybe that gives me more
it does.
access to
Yeah.
doing it in a different way, because I don't have muscle memory around what that sound should feel like in my body.
Yes, and for me specifically as a human being, I have a lot of suprahyoid muscular tension. So the muscles so you've got your larynx, and then you have a little bone that lives above it called your hyoid, and that's what kind of like pops up and down as you swallow to like everything moves up and down. I have lots of muscular tension from that level upwards, so the underside of the base of my tongue and inserting into the base of my pharynx, which is why I struggle to do those low frequency sort of sounds, because I've got this hyoid tension constantly pulling me up. To activate your ventricular folds,
Oh, so you
cannot have
physically
that.
can't probably do it. You probably.
I bet you that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, so I don't have access to it because naturally my voice has a heightened sense of tension in it all the time. And as a speech pathologist, what I was always encouraging people to do is to remove ventricular activation. We want those false folds out of the way. So for me, I know I have it. If I was to apply that sound, I would cause damage quickly because I'd have too much pressure.
That's so interesting. I'd spend a lot of time releasing tension through here. Like it's just part of my all the time. I'm like always releasing my tongue root. Like I'm trying to like drop tension from my body all of the time. Like I'm regularly dropping my tongue into the seat, like the seat of my mouth, rather than it like pushing up. I catch it. It's a stress response thing that happens in my body when I'm a bit tense. My tongue pushes up. Everybody does. My tongue pushes up against the roof of my mouth, but I find it up there a lot, like eyebrows and tongue. Right, that's me stressed. Like eyebrows go up, tongue pushes against the roof of my mouth. And so when I'm managing my stress responses throughout the day, that's one of the points that I'm checking in with all of the time: eyebrows and tongue, and where's it sitting. And so I'm always releasing that tension. Always trying to like release tension. Yes.
That's so interesting because I can't remember the specialty that they worked in. I'll have to think about it for the next time we have a conversation about this. They said that your tongue should always be resting on the roof of your mouth.
I know. I disagree with that. But
it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be pressing. So what it should be doing is that your tongue should be against your palate, so that you can actually let the jaw relax. Because it's the combination of the clenching of the jaw and the tongue sitting on the palate that is a problem, but the tongue on the palate and a relaxed jaw is not a problem. I'm going to look into this because that's so fascinating.
I think it probably also depends on the space in your mouth, because my tongue, when it's at rest, it's almost touching the hard palate at the front, but it's not quite. It's sitting just below it, right? I only have to move it a tiny little bit to get it to make contact. So it sits down low at the back and kind of lifts a bit like towards the front of my tongue, right? But stress is pushed.
Yes, yeah. I think it also depends on your base of tongue tie.
Yeah, totally.
If you've got one of those.
I had to check and see if I did.
See, Ashton just moved into the camera. She's like, what's going on? Such a fascinating conversation, though, because there is lots of conflicting evidence
100%.
around those things. But I also think it's about how you sit in those spaces and apply the surrounding
Yeah, because I'm
structures.
totally different.
So
than
freaking
And what
interesting.
your intention is. Yeah, right. It totally depends on what your intention is. My intention is to always have a loose jaw and to always have a tongue that is relaxed and soft, because that's what works best for me, to be able to do what I do for a living and communicate the way that I want to communicate, right? But it's also tied to my stress response. So in order for me to tell my nervous system that that everything's fine, I need to release my tongue from the roof of my mouth, because there's an association there now. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Because mine comes from an opposite direction, where I have tightened jaw muscles because I smile too much.
Yeah.
It's like
I
anxiety
habitually
smile.
smile. And what that does is and that clenches my jaw, which raises my larynx, which pushes my tongue, all of those sorts of things. So for me, having my tongue against the roof of my mouth is a reminder to relax my jaw.
Yeah, cool, right?
Yeah. So many different applications.
But it's also why when someone says, you should always have your tongue sitting on the roof of your mouth. No, fuck off, actually, with your fucking black and white bullshit. Like, no, right? This is not binary. This is not ones and zeros. Humans are different, right? And and it's not just about physiological differences. It's about psychological difference and nervous system difference and emotional differences and all of the relationships that we build with things and stuff, like it's just, I reckon I might start a mission where I just go find people saying definitive things and go, this is all the ways that's not right.
It's probably that same guy that approaches Tessa and says, I'm the best voiceover in the whole world that you've never heard of. They're the same person. You know what I mean?
It will be. It 100% will be. Please don't email agents like that. Please don't.
Yo, I'm the best, motherfucker. You totally want me on your books. Let's go.
I trained with this person. I'm like, I don't care.
All right, it's time to wrap it up, folks. Jordan's in my fucking ear again. Jesus.
Please don't ever leave us, Jordan. Please, we need you. Please don't ever leave us.
Just got to keep everyone else on time with their life.
No, I love it. It's great. Yes, Tessa.
Great sound, by the way, Jordan.
Yeah.
Great sound.
Bullshit.
So
You never
fun.
try it. Get fucked.
I am.
I gave such a great rationale for that.
She's allowed to protect her voice. But I'd love to hear you try it at some point and see. Like, I'd love you to give it a try in a safe environment and see what happens.
If I wasn't teaching afterwards, I absolutely would.
Yeah. It'll be just interesting to hear. All right. What a fucking great chat. God, it's good talking to you people. I love it. And we love talking to you, our dear listeners. Thank you so much for being here with us. And if you're watching on the YouTubes, hi, or on the TikToks or on any other platforms where you get to see us, right? We love it. Please don't hesitate to reach out if you've got a sound that you want us to make. If you've got a sound, if we've done a sound that you can make, please share it with us. We freaking love that. And bonus points if you can also tell us how you made that sound, right? Like,
yes, please.
Include some information about the mechanics that you identify that you're using and what you're doing with your vocal folds or what you're doing with your breath or like any of the bits that you get. Share that with us, right? Because that's firstly, we're nerds, we find it fascinating, but it also helps us then try and understand how to make the sound better or even to start with, right? So definitely reach out to us. Best way to find us is at thegoodtalkerspodcast@gmail.com, or you can send us messages on the socials. We're happy to get messages from you that way as well. All right. Super, super fun to hang out with all of you today and all of you out there. That's it from us. Thanks so much for being here with us on the Good Talkers podcast. We will see you next time. Hear you next time. Speak to you next time, actually, is what we'll do.
Nice.
all of the options of communication.
Bye.
Anyway,
See you
bye.
guys.
Bye.